Sigma males are known for their brilliant minds, charming wit, and very loyal nature. They are the rarest personality types, so it's no wonder why they often feel misunderstood. They are often called weird because they see the world differently than those around them. People often get angry because Sigma men read them like an open book, but they can also be frustratingly difficult to get to know. They are very independent and private people and don't like to share their innermost thoughts and feelings with just anyone. However, there are also a few things that Sigmas really hate. Here are 10 of them. 1. Having their personal space invaded. Sigma males are very private people and need their alone time to recharge. They hate it when people invade their personal space without permission. While they are usually very polite and patient with others, there will come a point where they just want to be left alone. They may not always show it, but they really dislike having their personal space invaded. They expect others to respect their boundaries and will get very angry if they feel like they are suffocated. When a Sigma man has had enough, they will usually just withdraw from the situation and go off alone to calm down. This can be interpreted as being rude, but it's just their way of dealing with stress. 2. Being told what to do. Sigma men are independent thinkers who like to make their own decisions. They don't like being told what to do, especially if they feel like they could have done it better themselves. If you need to give Sigma instructions, try to be as clear and concise as possible. Give them the information they need, and then let them figure out the best way to do it. Trying to micromanage Sigma will only frustrate them, and they will likely rebel against your authority. It's important to give them the freedom to do things their own way, otherwise you'll just end up frustrating them. They are the most independent of all personality types and prefer to do things their own way. So if you want to earn the respect of a Sigma man, it's important to let them have some autonomy and not try to control them too much. 3. Having to explain themselves multiple times. Sigma males are very straightforward people who prefer to just get to the point. They hate having to explain themselves multiple times or feeling like they are not understood. They already have a very good explanation of their thought process, so having to explain it again is just frustrating for them. They also know that many people just won't understand their complex thought process, so they don't bother trying to explain it. This is why Sigma males can come across as arrogant or condescending. They just prefer to save their breath and move on rather than trying to explain themselves to someone who probably won't get it anyway. 4. Being forced into social situations. They are very independent people who like to do things on their own. They hate being forced to socialize when they would rather just be by themselves. It can be draining for them to have to be around people for extended periods of time, and they will usually try to avoid social situations if they can. This doesn't mean that Sigma males don't like people, they just prefer to have their alone time. They are often mistaken for being shy or antisocial, but they just need time to recharge after being around others. If you want to be friends with a Sigma, just give them their space, and don't take it personally if they turn down your invitations. 5. Being interrupted. Sigma males are very analytical and logical people who like to take their time when they are formulating their thoughts. When someone interrupts them, it disrupts their thought process, and they can get very annoyed. Sigmas hate feeling like they are not being heard or respected. They may come across as cold or unfriendly, but that's just because they prefer to think before they speak. While they are usually very patient with others, they can quickly lose their temper if they are ignored. It's important to let them finish their thoughts before trying to engage in discussion with them. Otherwise, you risk frustrating them and making them angry. 6. Not having enough time for themselves. Sigma men hate feeling like they don't have enough time to themselves, which can make them feel overwhelmed and stressed out. They need time alone to think and process their thoughts and also need time just to relax. It can be very draining for them if they feel like they are constantly being pulled in different directions. Sigmas are often very good at time management, but even they can have their limits. If you're constantly asking a Sigma for favors or help, they may start to feel used and resentful, especially if you're not giving them the same consideration in return. Don't take it personally if they say no. They just need some time to themselves. 7. Following the rules and the status quo. Sigma men hate conformity and prefer to do things their own way. They are very independent thinkers who often challenge the status quo. This can make them appear rebellious or nonconformist, but they just have a strong need for autonomy. They are often seen as rebels without a cause because they tend to buck tradition and authority. They aren't looking to start trouble, they just don't like following some old useless rules. Being forced to do things a certain way just because that's the way it's always been done is very frustrating for them. 8. Having their time wasted. Sigmas are very pragmatic people who value their time and dislike wasting it. They hate it when people try to talk to them about things they don't care about or consider a waste of time. This can make them come across as uninterested or even rude, but they just prefer to focus on things that they deem to be important. Sigma males like to use their time efficiently, and wasting time is a huge pet peeve for them. If they feel like someone is trying to waste their time, they will usually just walk away or tune them out. They would much rather be doing something productive with their time than listening to someone ramble on about nothing. 9. Dealing with drama and emotional people. Sigma males prefer to live in a calm and rational world, but sadly, that's not always the case. They hate dealing with drama and emotional people and would much rather just avoid it altogether. This can make them seem insensitive or unemotional, but they just don't see the point in getting wrapped up in all of the drama. Sigmas would rather just stay out of it and focus on their own lives. They don't like getting involved in other people's problems and would rather just stay out of it. This can drain their battery quickly and leave them feeling exhausted. This is why they love their alone time. It allows them to escape from all of the drama and just focus on themselves. 10. When things are illogical. Sigma men are very analytical people who like to understand the how and why of things. They hate it when things don't make sense or when people are illogical. When things are chaotic or illogical, it throws off their whole world. This can make them seem inflexible or unyielding, but they just prefer things to be orderly and logical. We often hear illogical things from others, which can be frustrating for Sigmas. They would rather just stay quiet than trying to argue with someone who isn't going to see reason. This will save them a lot of frustration in the long run, while also preserving their energy.